So we picked up a Wii U recently and then some more Wii U games. We already had two in our collection before we actually got the system. One of those was the first game I put in and played and annihilated over the course of a weekend, and that was Captain Toad Treasure Tracker on the Wii U. And this just came out recently on the Switch. I really wanted this version just because I think that it really utilizes the pad in an interesting way, and there are exclusive levels between the two versions. There are some bonus levels at the end of this from Mario 3D Land that were then replaced with levels for Mario Odyssey. So eventually down the road, when price comes down, we'll pick up probably the Switch one, like a used copy down the road, because I absolutely loved this. This is an extraordinary game. I'm normally not a huge fan of puzzle games. There are very few that I will spend more than 5 minutes playing. It's just not a genre that I'm super into. I really love stuff like Mr. Driller. That's probably always been my favorite puzzle game, but not a genre that I'm usually that much into. My wife enjoys those so much more, like Bust a Move and Bejeweled, and anything from like the little cheap ones to some of the bigger franchises that have been going on forever. She'll play those like on DS and Game Boy and things like that, but not a genre I've always been super into. This, though, really stands out and is easily my favorite puzzle game ever. I love how the way it's set up, it feels in many ways like a really good Mario platformer, which I do enjoy, but then of course you take away the ability to jump, and it all becomes about utilizing your environment and solving the puzzles to make your way through it. And I think, though, it keeps some of that core Mario feel to it, that it just adds a different layer than I've ever played before in a puzzle game. And I love how, my favorite thing in the world is how each stage is like this big floating Rubik's Cube, sitting up in the netherworld. You shift everything around, you can change your perspective, and sometimes you can use a touch screen to even like remove parts of the environment or go up and down or spin wheels, or just to really alter this floating cube that each level is, and it makes this just brilliant and unique experience because it's done in such a way that everything seems very seamless and flowy, and I never found frustration with anything, and it has a perfect balance to where it's really easy to figure out each stage and go through it and get the first star, but then some of them get a little more difficult to maybe make the little bonus check, or to find each one of the three like crystals and things like that. Some of the levels can be harder than others, and towards the end there are a few that are pretty tricky to go through, and some of the boss fights are a lot of fun. Again, they're not hard to beat, but they're hard to get everything, and it makes you kind of keep coming back and replaying levels to try and complete everything, even after you've gone through each of the three books and then the bonus stage. And it has enough of like a cute little story to it that it makes it interesting to go through and be Toad and Toadette, and it just has a beautiful style. It's a gorgeous game, and it is cute as all get out, amazing, and just I absolutely love every second of it. Let's go on an adventure. Captain Toad is fantastic. I loved every second of this. This is definitely my favorite puzzle game ever. I just love the feel of it. There's nothing that was an issue with me. There's no flaw to this at all from my perspective. There's nothing about it that I disliked. There's nothing about it that I thought, man, I wish it worked this way. I absolutely loved everything about it. It was great, and I really enjoyed those occasional levels where you would go then in the minecart, and it would be with the Wii U pad, and you'd play a first person, almost like an on-rail shooter, and trying to do that. It was lots of cool, unique things, and then going through on the runaway train and things like that, and some of the ghost levels. There's so much variety in the style of each one of these levels and the structure, and it was just a colorful, beautiful, fun time that made you think but wasn't frustrating ever at any point. It was just a fantastic experience, and it was kind of interesting. This was the first Wii U game that I played, and again, I played the heck out of this over a weekend, beat almost all of it in 2 days, and I actually found myself playing almost the entire game on the pad, and it depends on the type of game. You can either have it displaying simultaneously on the TV or on the Wii U gamepad, or it can be the TV and you can switch it to the Wii U gamepad, but then it won't display on TV, or you can do different things depending on what the game is. This one would display both on the pad and TV at the same time, and I actually was playing it on the pad, I think because it feels enough like the Switch, and I've been so used to the past year or so playing so much of the Nintendo Switch that it just kind of felt comfortable that way. But it was great having it also on the TV, so Amanda could come by and while she was doing other things just kind of watch me for a little bit and say, oh, that's cool, and I think she really enjoyed it. I think she'll play this as well, either this version or the Switch. I think she'll play this, hopefully. We shall see, but that is a remarkable game, and it was just funny experiencing that way, to where I actually preferred playing it on the pad overall, but sometimes I switch to the TV and you can do both, and it just, I think it's a game that really shows the strengths of the Wii U, and I think it really focuses on how that was a good, underrated system with some really cool core games, and it's good to see some of those moved to the Switch, but at the same time, for a lot of those, like this one, whether or not I get the Switch version will depend on whether or not I like the original version, because I really enjoy playing games like that in that original form, those couple unique bonus levels at the end. So the Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is amazing. That thing instantly earns a spot on the list of top 200 for me. Just a great game, and easily my favorite puzzle game ever. Very excited. I really hope that the Switch version sells well enough that they go ahead and do a sequel, because that would be great. Can't decide what I want to play next. We got a lot of PS4 games, but maybe Splatoon. I really want to focus on the Wii U stuff. I'm having a lot of fun with that. I think this is what I'm going to hit up next.
Hello! Look!
Over here. No, not over there. By the tree. You know you can't resist me. You keep saying you're going to wait till the start of the new year. Keep saying that I'm such a long and involved game. You have to wait till after the holidays before you can begin. But I feel your resistance waning. Splatoon has nothing on me. You know you cannot resist. I will be the next game you play.